We're back for the second year in a row.
2 years. Of
How
being
long
back.
is 2 years?
Is that one of the questions?
Questions.
Question? What questions? What?
Questions.
Oh, we were never really good at the fluid transitions.
To celebrate 2 years, we're doing another Q&A.
Yeah.
Should we say thank you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should we say grace?
Thank you.
No, seriously, guys. It's pretty crazy. I mean, a year ago when we recorded our 1 year anniversary, I think we had like 30,000 subscribers, which felt really cool at that time because like a few weeks before that we had like 1,000 subscribers, and then all of a sudden it like jumped up to 30,000. We were like, whoa, that's insane.
It felt like a really big deal.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
it was a big deal.
And so like when we were recording this last year, we were really like, we were getting into it. Like we were feeling like we were starting to be a real YouTube channel. And now, a year later, and we have tripled in subscribers since then. But it's crazy thinking about like when we first started doing this, and we were like counting by like ones, like how many subscribers we were getting, and like each day, you know, we would like, and we could like tell when like someone left, like with one person unsubscribed, we'd be like, oh damn, we're back to 62 subscribers now. You know, it was so, we had like our devout group of a couple of fans. Some of them are still fans. Like I'll shout out Battering Ram.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, Battering Ram has been.
Thank you, Battering Ram.
Has been with us as long as I can really remember. I feel like they were commenting on like our first couple of videos, but it's crazy. And so to thank you guys for all of your support and for you know, your enthusiasm and how much you guys genuinely love the stuff that we do here. We thought that we would have a nice relaxing in quotes, a Q&A for you guys. You know, subjectively relaxing, depending on what your idea of relaxing may be. Yeah, we have a bunch of questions that you guys asked both through Twitter and through the YouTube community page. So yeah, we're gonna look through some of these questions, and we're gonna answer them as succinctly and concisely as we possibly can. Again,
I don't know if we make an effort for succinctness
well,
necessarily.
Or concise, honestly. That's not really our style.
Yeah, I guess if you know us,
we
then
will
you know that
answer.
There will be
the
answers,
questions.
hopefully, for most of them.
I have a good one to start with.
Okay.
Someone from Twitter asked, "How are you?"
That's a good one. I feel like we
I don't
started the
know
last
yet.
time we did a Q&A. I feel like we started with, how are you? Guys, how are you?
They just want to know. I'm okay.
I mean,
Thanks.
it's, you know,
fine.
it's
fine.
a pretty stressful time.
There's a lot going on. It's, you know, we're in quarantine. Any subjectivists watching in the future and binging anniversary Q&As 1 through 28?
This is history right here. We'll be canceled by then.
Oh yeah.
They'll pull up the Gen 1 reworks
it's
video,
happening now.
And we're canceled.
no.
We're canceled. Because at that point, the social justice will have actually reversed itself, and anyone trying to take action against anything dated or racist will actually be called out.
That's actually kind of, I feel like that already is, okay, we're getting political. I feel like that is.
Yeah, I don't think,
This
never mind.
The question is,
Wait,
how are you?
How are you?
Anyway, I was just trying to say, we haven't physically seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, that is the
Has
hardest
it been
thing.
like half a year by now, probably?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
last time we saw you guys was like in February. There was snow on the ground. So I don't know. In general, I think we're good, all things considered.
I feel like I'm as good as I can be with everything going on, you know?
I was just about to say that, yeah. In the vaguest sense, we're all fine and we're doing good, in case that was like an actual concern, but that's okay. Yeah, how do we want to do this? I could be like question moderator. Here's actually a good place to start. How does being on YouTube for 2 whole years feel? What have you enjoyed the most?
Well, honestly,
Because you guys have been doing this, like Jack and Claire specifically, this is just your job.
yeah.
In addition to like
Yes.
commissions and stuff, so 2 years of that, huh?
I mean, it's kind of funny because we're still kind of working at the same capacity that we were working when we first started, and we had like less than 50 subscribers. Because, I mean, when we first started, we had to work a lot to make sure that we got enough videos out that people would see our name and kind of get us out there. But like,
we were trying to figure out the algorithm, and
or what people wanted to see, really.
Yeah.
But that much hasn't really changed. I don't think. It feels very natural, I guess, at this point. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do when I graduated college, and I really didn't know up until I decided that we were gonna make a YouTube channel that this is what was going to work best for me. But now I can't really imagine doing anything else. So I would say that it feels natural. It feels right.
This kind of ties in with another question we have that's asking about whether being a freelance artist has given more or less creative freedom than working for a design studio or a company. And we were actually talking about this recently, but it's really interesting being in this mindset where we work Monday through Saturday for pretty much a normal work day. Like, we have our own flexibility because we work for ourselves is really nice, but it's a lot of work. And especially when you're trying to figure out something like the YouTube algorithm, to a certain extent, you can't completely do what you want. You have to.
We tried it. Trust me.
We've had some crazy videos.
If you're like a new subscriber, you're not familiar with the early stages of subjectively.
The office characters see you.
But I
had fun with that.
Because
it was fun.
I had fun with it too. I just
that was the stuff that we really want. Like, if we could do whatever we wanted,
it would be crazy.
That would be what we do a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think
when
so
you don't
too.
know what's gonna work, you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Something has to stick eventually, which is why I was like, let's do Homestuck, even though Homestuck hasn't been super relevant in a while.
That was our first big blow up.
Yeah, that was, I think most of our fan base at one point was
just
Homestuck people. But anyway, I was just gonna say, you still have to kind of abide by your fan base once you have that fan base, because if we really just did whatever we wanted, this could not be our jobs. It's interesting, it's fulfilling because we do have that level of flexibility, but there isn't really that total creative freedom that maybe you think of when you think of going freelance.
Yeah, it's cool to talk about it so candidly, because YouTube careers, I feel like people are like, wow, they just get to do whatever they want, and now they have a mansion in LA. Like, it's not quite that straightforward. And it's especially not quite that straightforward when you have like 5 different people and moving pieces in what you're doing.
I have to say, I also thought YouTubers made a lot more money per view than is actually the case.
I mean, it's still confusing to me how people make millions and millions of dollars on YouTube. Because, I mean, like, when we were kids and we watched YouTube channels, like, there were big YouTube channels, but I never thought of like Ray William Johnson as a very well-to-do gentleman. Like, I didn't picture him in this.
You didn't?
I mean, I thought he lived in like a crappy little apartment in New York. And now when I think of like a successful YouTuber, I think of Gentle Marbles, which I guess.
Uh-oh.
Is, well, I mean, what pre all of that stuff. But I mean,
Fred.
Fred. Now see, Fred is loaded.
It was on iCarly, so.
Where is he now?
I think he's dead.
But I mean, that's the other thing.
my
Like,
God.
Not Fred.
I think YouTube channels and their owners tend to have this like really like full and quick lifespan where it's like so much happens so quickly, and then so many of them just kind of disappear.
Yeah, if you don't keep up with it, I mean, the algorithm does not care.
Jane actually has worked at a studio.
Want to talk about your freelancing experience and if it has given you more freedom than it would if you're working at a studio? Actually, I think you're the only one out of all of us who has both.
I guess I have. Oh, I'm getting nervous. I guess my first real professional job was at a studio in Boston. It's an animation studio. It was a commercial animation studio, and I had an internship there. And for a lot of it, I did feel fairly restrained. Like, I come from a place where I care a lot about, like, character design and creature design and fantasy and, all the fun illustrative. I loved Neopets as a kid. Like, I come from that area. Like,
I like that's a good way to surmise it.
I'm not naturally a graphic designer, and the internship was much more tailored for that kind of motion graphics. But I did get to work on a few cell animated things, which was really cool. But it definitely limited me creatively. I'd try to get in a more illustrative approach for, like, if we were, like, pitching ideas for projects, and a lot of the times it just got overlooked because it's not the appropriate work for the studio.
You had to kind of fit it with whatever the project was or whatever the director was looking for.
Yeah, and to a degree, that actually felt kind of nice sometimes because you felt like you were getting it right if you hit it on the head correctly.
Right.
Did you feel like you had a lot of variety in what you did day to day?
As an intern, I probably had a lot more variety than I thought I did. You mean in terms of, like, projects I worked on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely all over the place. Interns were, you'd get the little stuff that, the higher-ups didn't really want to deal with.
Right.
Like, I was coming up with concepts for, like Instagram or Facebook face filters. I was doing a granola bar mock-up for Instagram. Yeah, I guess that was that experience. And then I've had a few other freelance gigs that have allowed me for a little more creative freedom in terms of doing things I like.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think when people go freelance, the goal eventually is to have people come to you for your, like, personal work, essentially. Like, your brand is what people want, and they hire you to make the stuff you want. But I think it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, and also finding, like, you really do have to find, like, a studio. If you want to work with a studio, you have to find the studio that you really want to work with, because, you can settle for any other studio and, tailor your portfolio to really fit what they want, but, like, is that what you want? Do you want to, like, be, not faking it essentially, but, not doing what you're totally in love with?
I think there are a lot of artists in the animation industry that, like, they do, where it's like, this is my job art, and then I also have, like, my personal art because I love doing it.
Yeah, I think a lot about, like, I think we all follow a lot of different artists on social media, and every once in a while you see an artist who works at, like, Pixar or Disney, and they're like, I'm leaving my job and I'm going freelance. And every time I see that, I have this moment of, why would you ever leave that job? That's like a dream job, right? Being an artist for Pixar or Disney or a big game company or something. But I mean, it has to be like, at a certain point, they don't feel creatively fulfilled doing that. And I mean, I guess it's all relative, but it's just interesting to see that at every level that feeling exists. For some people, at least.
My ideal job is definitely being in a studio and someone just, like, pokes their head into my office and they're like, draw this background. And I'm like, all right, you got it.
And they're bringing you a coffee and someone else brought their dog into work.
And I ring a little bell and then I'm pretty sure, like, mice come out and they start dancing.
See, that sounds nice.
Someone asked, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Oh,
This is a
there's
hard
so much
question.
pressure.
Well, this is gonna take us a while. I can already tell.
I know there is a lot of pressure. Let's
specify. Let's say an evening meal, a favorite dinner meal.
Okay.
quesadillas.
And this could. Ooh, wow! Right off the bat, really?
Oh,
That's all I got. Yeah, I love
wish I had that
quesadillas.
much
I mean, I'm not
confidence.
disagreeing with you. I would have never guessed that you. I would have guessed like corned beef and mashed potatoes.
I think
Why?
I
Because you're Irish.
get in a lot of different moods, but it's probably an Asian dish. Maybe like pad see ew or something.
Good choice.
I feel like Claire and I both get insane cravings.
I don't know what it is. It's just, especially I think with Asian food, because I can't make it as well as a restaurant could. It's like, it's a delectable treat. So you have to like order in, right?
See, I would decide, because I love a lot of foods, but I would decide what my favorite food is the same way I decide my favorite movies, which is, and my criteria for that is something that I could enjoy over and over and over again. Like if I ate this food for dinner last night and then someone said, hey, we're going to go get that same thing again tonight. You want some? I wouldn't be like, no, I just had some last night. I'd be like, fuck yeah, give me more. So I think that would, and that could be a couple of different things. But I'm going to say right now, it's like, pretty any kind of Mexican food. I think for me, like I love burritos, I love quesadillas. My favorite foods involve pretty much every food group. Like I want to have something with cheese, I want to have something with proteins, which could be beans because I'm a vegetarian, but it could be beans, could be fake meat. Then I want, so you got your cheese dairy, you get some sour cream, could be dairy, you get some ranch, it's kind of like dairy.
It's kind
then
of
you
like
get your
dairy.
fruits, you get your pico de gallo. You have all kinds of different salsas. Maybe you want to get some like extra peppers on there. They're your fruits. Vegetables, you got your lettuce. I'm gonna pass on the cilantro, but that's also a vegetable. And then you could put other types of vegetables on there. Lettuce is pretty much good though. There's your vegetable food right there.
Wait, Jack,
Jack, what other
Tell
things
me
are
more.
vegetables?
Yeah, can
Your
you please go
grains.
into depth?
About other vegetables?
Yeah, what else is
yeah.
a vegetable?
Well,
Yeah,
if we're
can you say
talking
every
about
vegetable you
Mexican
know?
food, well, I did. Lettuce and cilantro.
So you like a nice like a bowl from like
Yeah, I like. Well, but that's the thing. Like,
Chipotle.
but I like it that I can eat the whole thing. Like to quote George Costanza, the best meal is one where you look down and there's just nothing left. Like you've eaten everything. There's no plate, there's no spoon, there's no fork, no
Jack, don't
napkins.
eat your plate. Wait, Nick, what's your favorite food?
Popcorn.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Wait. So Jack specified evening meal. Would you consider popcorn an evening meal? Or
yes.
is-
Okay.
Oh, that's an evening meal, easy.
Okay, popcorn is my favorite overall food. But if we're talking specifically something that you should eat for dinner because it has nutritional value,
Popcorn.
yeah, popcorn with
Popcorn with ketchup on
that,
it.
that yeast on it,
Ooh, nutritional yeast.
and some broccoli in there.
Nutritional
Ew.
yeast is
I would eat this.
Honestly, this sounds good.
Broccoli
The
and
yeast
popcorn
is cheesy,
just
so
sounds
it's
wet.
good on the popcorn. My favorite food, I guess I really like veggie dumplings. I really like fried rice. I like that kind of stuff, but I guess like a nice broccoli pasta with a cream sauce or spinach might be one of my faves. Or like a fancy mac and cheese like Jane's mom would make.
Jade, what's your favorite food? I haven't eaten today.
My favorite food. When I was a kid, my favorite food was an artichoke.
That's insane. I had artichokes
An
for breakfast.
artichoke?
It's absolutely blowing my mind.
Then it was spinach pie. Because it's
my
like
God,
that
you're
sounds horrible.
fucked
But
No,
up.
Whoa.
I'm imagining like
Girls, you
Greek.
sound like the farmer's daughter.
Are you
over
from the
here.
Middle Ages?
Papa, can I have spinach pie? I'm a very good girl.
That's what Jane
spinach pie
sounds
is
like, too.
awesome. It's just pie. Okay, this sounds horrible. It's just a pie crust with spinach, black olives, cheese, red pepper, and olive oil. And it's delicious. But as an adult, which that's still one of my favorites. Yeah. I will say. I'll say sushi. I love a good sushi.
What are your most obscure interests?
I just
Oh,
outed myself.
that's a good segue.
Your interests.
Yeah, Jane
All right,
is
Jane,
super into...
delve into it. Let's hear it.
I feel like I've already talked about this one subjectively, but I really, really love aquascaping and taking care of fish tanks. Even though I haven't done that since high school, it really resonated with me, and it was awesome.
It's so sick. I keep telling you you should do that here.
It's too.
Franny
We're not
could go
in a
for a
permanent
swim.
place. Like you can't move a fish tank that easily, and it's just so expensive for the electricity to keep the heater on and the aeration.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. Like, you can't
Right.
half-ass aquascaping.
it's a living thing too. I don't want to
Yeah.
fuck it over.
You gotta
for
make
my-
sure it's a good... Like, you follow Foo the Flower Horn, right, Jane? You follow that YouTube channel? the guy who does like all the very specific like
Yes.
aquaculture, like
We're gonna
he has-
collab with them actually.
Is that
We'll
the,
do
is
a
that the
collab
same
with
guy
him.
who
We
does,
draw
like,
his
he puts like a
fish?
cucumber in there and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like
I
a little
watched those.
krill
Those are
and
so
shit.
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
My latest obscure interest has. Nick is laughing because he knows what I'm gonna say.
I know what it is.
Okay, well.
So there's the show.
Oh no! Shut up! No, it's not that.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, how obscure is Miraculous Ladybug? First of all,
I really have no idea.
I don't
We're
think
the
it's
only
it's also
Ladybug.
not called Miraculous Ladybug. So
It's not?
No.
It's Princess Ladybug.
The official English title is Miraculous: The Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir. I
Is she a
think
princess?
she is absolutely not a princess. Jack just directs me with it. Calls me every
She
time.
is a Princess Ladybug.
All right. Well, I was gonna say witchcraft, but do we want to listen to me talk
yes.
about witchcraft for 5 minutes?
I
or
think
do we
it's
want to listen to me
interesting.
talk
I could
about
get into it.
Ladybug? Because I can do either right now.
No, I want. Okay, my vote.
Which is more prominent in your life at the moment? Because I'm leaning more towards one category.
All right. Well, the other day, me and Nick and Jane spent literally 4 hours just watching like Goblin Core TikToks
Mm-hmm.
and witch talks and
I'm
cottage core
sorry,
TikToks.
Hold on, you gotta back up.
Oh wait, Jack, let me explain it. Because
Did you say
But
Goblin
Nick,
Core?
it's my
Yeah.
Is that related to cottagecore?
Okay, so I'm gonna just backtrack a little bit. I think learning folklore is really cool, and I've specifically been trying to learn about my own folklore. I'm very Irish, and I recently discovered butter witches, which are back in Ireland. I don't know how far back. People would use butter magic to like steal butter from their neighbors.
Okay.
And they were called butter witches because I guess
That's
dairy
so awesome.
dairy wasn't crucial to ancient Irish culture, but it was kind of like a luxury item to have. So
Butter
people
witches.
so what would happen is like if you had a string made from white horsehair and you went to your neighbor's lawn and you collected their dew from the lawn with the horsehair and you muttered a cursed enchantment, you could steal the butter from your neighbor. So your neighbor would have like 3 cows and get no butter. And then the creepy old lady next door has 1 cow, but she has 3 cows worth of butter. She stole your butter. She's a
That's
butter
one
witch.
thing.
So yeah, that's like my most obscure witch knowledge that I have that I wanted to share. But that has
I
nothing
really
to do with
like that.
cottagecore. So cottagecore.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Goblin Core.
Oh,
Goblin
they're
core is
different.
better than cottagecore in my opinion.
They're different.
So these are subcultures that have emerged from TikTok that like it's like a Venn diagram. Okay, so picture cottagecore is a circle, goblin core is a circle, and witch talk is a circle, but it's easiest to start talking from witch talk. So witch talk is a bunch of goth teens who are explaining how to do witchcraft, which like I'm down, I'm into it. I want to learn about witchcraft. And then cottagecore is like people who romanticize living in cottages and like eating strawberries and being lesbians. Those are 3 crucial things.
I'm sorry.
That's all
Are
really.
those 3 things that are very often clustered together?
Yes.
Eating strawberries, living in
constitute-
cottages, and being a lesbian.
I don't know.
Okay,
That's
I'm
cottagecore.
learning. I'm learning.
That's cottagecore, and then goblin core, which is also sometimes called dirt core.
Horrible name, Goblin Core.
Goblin core is way better. Is if you take cottagecore, but instead of being obsessed with strawberries, you're obsessed with frogs and mushrooms.
So why would you ever pick the other ones?
Okay, but Jack, let me break it down because the thing. With
I think
Goblin
we're
Core
getting
is
really
it-
far away from the question.
It can range, but I just need to explain this to Jack because he needs to understand the range here. The range can be literally like how Claire likes frogs, like that is
Right.
can be part of it. Where it's just like you have a TikTok and you're like, oh, I got this cool frog ceramic. His name's Harold or whatever.
I
he's
like
epic.
that.
He's epic.
I
It's a
do
good
like
name.
that.
And then
I
you
like
put him
that.
on your shelf, like next to your crystal, and it's sick. But then also you can literally dress like Bilbo, or actually be green, like be painted green.
Yep.
So-
Or you can dress up like a mushroom. The range is beautiful. And in conclusion, those are 4 of my obscure interests that I talked about a lot real fast.
Well, now that's my answer too, because I'm actually fucking fascinated
Really?
with Goblin Core. My strange interest is just misc. I'll just put miscellaneous. I cycle.
That's a cop out. Cop out. Talk about how you've watched The Office 27 times.
That's not odd. That's so common.
Jack,
Everyone
talk
does
about
that.
those documentaries you've been watching about ancient parasites.
Yeah, I
on
like
the ocean
paleontology.
There, yeah, that works. There you go.
I like paleontology. This morning I was talking about what different animal milks might taste like.
Oh, yeah,
That has nothing to do with
You're
paleontology.
talking about what?
What different animal milks might taste like.
Turns
like,
out whale milk
whale milk,
would taste like
especially, I
fish.
feel like would be
Probably
horrible.
salty, right?
Yeah. And then we read this article
Okay,
that
but
said
now
that
it sounds like exotic milks is your interest.
I mean, it is to some extent.
It was
I'm
interesting. We'll have to have
curious.
a conversation about it.
I wish I remember what human milk tastes like, because that's I have on my
Oh.
repertoire. I have
Oh,
cow
no.
milk.
No, I mean
have
that's
soy
the
milk,
one we're
almond
supposed to
milk.
drink, right?
Horse milk apparently. We looked this up. Horse
Yeah,
milk
we learned
apparently
about
tastes
horse
a
milk this
lot
morning.
like cow milk. We got tricked into thinking that dog milk was really sweet,
Thanks to a marketing
thanks to this
stunt by
article
PETA.
that it was a twist where PETA made a bunch of people drink what they called dog milk, but it turns out it was just soy milk. But what they wanted to be was people say, "Ew, why would you make me drink dog milk?" And they'd say, "Why would you drink cow milk?" So that was like their stupid activism thing. Doesn't make
PETA
any sense to me.
sucks.
PETA's stupid. But anyway, it's not. That's not what dog milk tastes like. Apparently, dog milk is disgusting.
Wow.
Which is good because I
Dogs
was
like it.
where can I find dog milk?
Alright. Claire, can you top this Jack's obscure interest? Because drinking different types of animal milk is pretty damn obscure.
I honestly, I don't know if I can. I'm.
I don't think
I
you
mean,
can
I
either.
was part of that conversation.
That's true.
It's
See, help me
I'm the
find out
one.
about the fake dog milk.
I'm the one that has dog milk, whale milk, and horse milk in my search history now. So I don't really know. Like I'm kind of interested in witchy things too, but I don't have the search history to back that up. Unlike Ailish.
Oh, my YouTube search
I-
history is embarrassing.
I think you're both outdone by Jamie too. I don't think. I
Yeah,
don't
Jamie's
think you
more
guys can
into it
top
than I
that.
am. He has a penis-shaped candle, so
Yeah.
I don't even know who I'm.
I have never seen Ailish post one picture of a graveyard. Jamie does it pretty much regularly.
Wait,
So you cut out one picture of a what? Oh, no, I don't like the graveyard part. I like the crystal part.
Well, so that's I mean, whatever. I'm not here to judge. I'm just as a Goblin Core myself. I'm more into the kind of gritty.
Oh my God, Jack, you have a Goblin Core GF. That's the thing.
I?
You're
Does she like
normie.
frogs?
I'm part of frog posting, so.
Okay, but I want to get a frog, and Claire doesn't want to get a frog
I asked you this morning if you wanted to get a frog, and you said no.
because I know you don't want a frog.
You asked me, okay. So I can't think of any obscure interest I have at the moment. I would say maybe shiny hunting, but that's not obscure in the context of our channel.
Yeah, that's
No.
actually pretty common.
Maybe-
considering our fan base.
Right. A couple years ago, I used to be really into competitive MMO gaming. It wasn't just casual though. Like I had a group and I did progression, and I was playing Final Fantasy XIV in the first expansion, and I had an extra program installed so I could track my damage on this class, and I would upload it to a leaderboard and compare against other people on my server.
That
So
counts.
I mean, progression rating.
I can talk about mine really quick.
Yeah, what's yours?
I don't really have any super at the moment, but in high school, I was really into yo-yoing. I did this thing called devil sticks for a while, and I went to Rubik's Cube competitions.
You actually went to
That's
Rubik's
so
Cube
awesome.
I wasn't
competitions?
good. I didn't have a good time, but when my best friend from, I guess, middle school, well, he's still one of my best friends, but we've been friends for a long time, and he was really into it. He had really good times. His best time was, I think he got a sub 20 once, which is really fast.
You sound like
No,
a
it's
speedrunner right now.
20. I thought you were talking about speedrunning. That's so sick.
On his cubing. So I went to one of those, and I remember very distinctly going. I was 14, I think, and I remember them talking about this god tier cuber, and they were like, yeah, he's here with his girlfriend. It's so awesome. And I was so confused. So yeah.
How hot was his girlfriend?
Is
Can't
Yu-Gi-Oh
believe I
our
date a
obscure
cuber.
interest?
Oh, I was just discounting it because everyone knows I like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right. Well, that experience was making me think of going to Brockton and being in that tournament.
Oh my god,
I feel like that's
I'll
a
never
pretty
go to
weird
a
hobby.
locals ever again. For
I don't
many
know.
reasons.
It was worth it.
I got another question if you guys are ready for it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Bringing it back to art.
A bass. Fish.
A fish.
Fish tanks.
Sorry, I have to clear my throat. When tackling a redesign, what do you think is more important? Preserving the spirit of the original or communicating your theme better? Even if that means making it unrecognizable from what it was before. Love the content. Happy birthday.
Aw. Well, this is a really good question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the love for our content. This is hard because I think that when we make the redesign videos, and this is going back to our very first video, which was talking about Pokemon that we didn't like, and at the time when we recorded that video, we didn't really have a plan for how the video was going to work. Our plan was just talking about Pokemon we didn't like. And then as we were editing it, I was like, oh, we can make this into more interesting by actually adding visuals to the changes that we unintentionally came up with while we were talking about what we hated about the Pokemon. So, I mean, the name of our channel is Subjectively, and the reason we picked that is because we were completely opinion-based from the beginning. And we knew that if you post something on the internet, it's going to be disputed no matter what it is. Like, people are going to have their own opinions about it, and that's fine. That's important. I think that's super important in the world of art. The tricky part is that when you're on the internet, there are people who don't really understand how much of it is subjective, and people like having objectivity to be able to root their argument in some sort of fact. So they can say, yes, I'm right, you're wrong. So the problem really arises when someone decides that one thing can either be one way or another. For me, I think the most important thing is to make something that you're happy with, that you enjoy, because I think when you make stuff that you enjoy, other people, and you can get excited about it, other people will get excited about it too. And that has been the case with everything that we've done and every redesign that we have done. Someone likes it. There's at least one person in the comments who enjoys it. And usually it's more than that, as well as a lot of people who don't like it. So I think the most important thing is to make something that you like, that looks good. Now, in the context of things like when we redesign League of Legends characters or we redesign Pokemon, of course we want to take into consideration the intent of the original creator, how the character has already been perceived by other people, what other people might like about it, even if we don't like it, and then like any kind of like allusions to different cultures, if they're based off of specific myths and legends, or even just like cultural like tropes and stuff. Like, we want to be able to preserve that too, because that's very important when you're designing a character, to be able to represent that culture in an authentic and respectful way.
That's definitely something that we've grown more mindful of since the
yeah, and because like
redesigning
sometimes we
video.
don't. Yeah, like there were things that we didn't know about that people were very kind to point out to us. Very, very nice and patiently were able to point out. But I would say that, yes, the most important thing, for me at least, is just make something that you yourself can say, this looks really cool, I'm really happy with that.
I can't really speak to any of the League redesigns, but I know with the Pokemon redesigns, we were definitely trying to find that sweet middle ground between preserving the spirit and communicating the theme. Because I think a lot of our redesigns for the Pokemon came from re-theming them.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have purpose for why we were changing them, and the purpose for changing it wasn't really related. The only way that it was related to the original design was like, we don't like how this looks, so let's try and make this Pokemon about something else, so we have a reason to make it look more to our tastes.
Right. Which is kind of cheating, but at the same time,
we were making the rules. So.
Yeah. I mean, we were our main goal was to make something that we were happy with, I think.
This person says, I want to know more about the artists. How did y'all start your art journeys? How did y'all
Did they have
stop
an
your
accent?
actors? Wow.
I mean, I guess it's
That's
like
really
when
bad.
we're kids. I think we all started as kids, right? Does that count?
Yeah.
Or is it?
I mean,
That
yeah, I
counts.
think, I think that's it. For me, at least, and I mean, I know all of you guys. I know that you've been drawing since elementary school, kindergarten. Like, I've seen some of the masterpieces, and we really, Nick, I think we gotta scan that book that you did, and
I love that book.
From third
There
grade.
was-
Amazing.
yes, your poems and your acrostics. I
That can
love
be a
that.
Patreon award.
I had a lot of. I was fucking weird.
Oh, it's good.
No, you're
I love
so
it.
creative.
Yeah. Mhm.
And-
You
No,
were both.
no, it
Serious?
is. It really is. I mean,
You had
It's-
no restraints, Nick. You had no worries.
it's
know.
it's so crazy. I mean, like, I can't think of anything else other than in the fictional writing of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where I would hear of a third grader talking about someone being as obedient as a worm. Like, it's so unique. It's got so much potential for comedy. It's got so much potential for mystery and enigma. I love it.
There is a poem.
I mean, I know there's backstory to why it's obedient as a worm, which is also great.
No,
because-
Wormy. Rip.
Do you want to tell the story of Wormy?
I
have to now.
I was in third grade and first for the context of my life, I moved to a new town. So I really didn't have many friends. And I would act, I guess, really weird and however I wanted. And I found an inchworm and I was like, oh, this guy's epic. He's inchy. He's my best friend. So I was showing him off to people. And then we had to go to a computer class. So I put him in my pocket and I brought him into class. And then I was talking to the girl next to me. I'm pretty sure it was Michaela, I think was her name. And
Nice. Shout out to Michaela.
I showed her, I was like, Wormy's in there, and then she kicked him.
No.
Yeah. And Wormy,
Wow.
when Wormy passed. But then, like, as I started making friends, like, Wormy was like a bit that I would like. I would always talk about Wormy. It was pretty much just like rest in peace, Wormy. Like, you were the best.
Obedient as a worm.
And then I
Wow.
immortalized him in a
Nick,
poem I wrote.
I never knew the story of Wormy. I actually had a very similar experience when my family moved from Indiana to Oklahoma. I was in third grade and there were these like they turned into moths, like fluffy caterpillars all over the playground at recess. And I named one Blue Thunder and my friend's was Blue Lightning.
That's so sick.
Oh well,
we
Wormy
carried
could
them
kick
around all
asses.
day, and then like the bully took Blue Thunder and threw him over the fence.
No.
It's-
I don't know what happened. I
no, well,
assume he
Oh my
died.
god.
Ah.
Well, where are those kids now?
Nick, you're taking up
Fucking
the
kids.
entire board.
I'm
Shout out to
drawing.
Scott who killed Blue Thunder.
My art journey, because that's what we were talking about. I realized that this could be like a career and it could be like a huge thing. When I was maybe like 10 years old, and I was watching the behind the scenes for The Incredibles, and the storyboard specifically where Mr. Incredible he has to pretend that he's chopped his fingers off.
Oh, yeah. Deleted scene.
Yeah, that storyboard, and then just like the Pixar like behind the scenes storyboard, like digital, the bonus content is what really opened my eyes to be like, I could do this, I want to do this. And that led me to be a extremely pretentious like 14-year-old.
I was gonna say, like, having that knowledge when you're 10 years old, like, that can lead for some really nice middle school phases of like, oh, you think you like animation? Oh, honey.
Yeah,
I'll have you
I
know,
live
I
and
watched
breathe
the
animation.
bonus content on the SpongeBob the movie DVD.
I was
And
that
I
bitch.
know that they tried to make Squidward ink, and they never did.
I remember, Jack. I watched that too.
I was that person who, if you were like, yeah, my favorite Pixar movie is Shrek, I'd be like, actually, well, that's DreamWorks.
Okay, the question is, where did your artist journey start?
Yeah.
That's,
Your humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. I guess I had a similar feeling towards Ailish, where I was watching the behind the scenes of Spirit, and it was just talking about how they designed Spirit, and they like made like a 3D, or not 3D, like a clay sculpt of him to give him like, you know, to get the every angle of Spirit drawn.
the eyebrows.
And I was like, wow. So as a kid, I really liked sculpting with clay, and seeing that and then turned into 2D art, I was like, oh shit, that's like the coolest thing in the world. But I never really, I don't know, I have like a really weird feeling with art where I don't, like, I saw some of the questions where it was like, what are your biggest inspirations? I have inspirations, but like I can't name any of them specifically. I sort of just, where am I going with
Or
this?
they're just like they're just like, because I feel the same way, where like people will
kinda-
say, oh, what's your favorite artist? And it's like, I can't think of anyone's name like off the top of my head. Or it's like, you know, what do you think about, like, you know, what are your art boards and shit? Like, I don't really
I don't
do any of that
have
stuff.
any like big heroes that really inspired me to get into art. Like that's just like the one moment where I was like, oh, I get it. It's not like a magic, mysterious process. Like it actually, like it's just made by people. It's not just shit out and put into a movie theater. Like,
But do you say that being on DeviantArt was like a influential time? Like being around, that was the first time I was around other artists.
yeah, I guess Spirit and DeviantArt were some big helps. So I had my like online art shit going for me in high school, and then like I also took 2 outside art classes for like becoming like I guess like a fine artist. One of them was actually with Robin,
Yeah, I remember that.
our drawing teacher from Mass Art, which hopefully we'll get to share that story later because that's a really good one.
That's a question.
We need to share that story.
Yeah. So, you know, it was like in high school, it was like I'm trying to merge all this like fine artist knowledge I'm learning along with like me drawing like adoptable like wolf and tiger characters that I'm selling for like $5 each. Like it was hard to put that together and sort of even take art seriously because I was having so much fun. I wasn't really considering a career out of it. I don't know. I could talk about this forever.
I wholeheartedly believe that you're a better artist for all the time that you spent drawing on websites like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was gonna say it's funny that both you and Ailish really connect your roots to thinking about art as a career, because for me, I never thought that I would ever have a career in art. I didn't really even understand how that would even, because when you say it's like a magical thing, like I thought that up until like my junior year of high school. Like I didn't consider the fact that there's an industry, that there has been an industry. Like when I thought about jobs as an artist, I thought like the last time anyone had a job as an artist was like during the Renaissance. Like that was it. like the fucking like commission portraits of like royalty and dukes and shit. Like that was when I thought about professional art. That's what I thought about. And like I always loved
You thought
drawing.
you had to have like patrons and...
Yeah, I thought you needed to be an excellent painter. I thought you needed to know human anatomy perfectly. I thought you needed to know all the medium. I thought you had to like be in Europe, and you had to like I had this such a specific idea of what an artist could be, and I was just like, no, I'm not getting there. Like when I was up until maybe high school, like when I was all through middle school, I thought I was going to be either a paleontologist or like a zoologist. Like I thought I was going to work with animals or dead animals. Like that was like my biggest interest. So I did not consider art to be a career path for me. Then in high school, I sucked at pretty much everything but art. Like my mom had me doing all these extracurricular things. Like I was doing orchestra, I was playing the violin, I was doing karate, my dad had me doing fucking sports, and like I sucked at all of those things. And then I sucked at math, I sucked at science, which I thought I would have a career in one day, but like chemistry, even biology, like I had trouble taking tests, I couldn't focus in class, like I had social anxiety, like all these things made all of this academia seem impossible for me. And then I was like completely stuck, and I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? I can't do, art is not an option, even though I do it all the time. And all this other stuff is just not going to happen because I'm doing terrible at school and I'm getting horrible grades. So it wasn't until I think my junior year of high school when I met, because in my high school we alternated art teachers a lot. Like my first art teacher retired after my freshman year, and then the next year we had a teacher for 1 year and then she quit. But then in my junior year, we had a new teacher come in, Miss Westcott, Shannon Westcott. She was awesome. And she was kind of like fresh out of college herself. Like she was like in her late 20s at the time. And she was really into the idea of prepping students in her class for a career in art. Now she was a photographer, so she was like way off from what I wanted to do as an artist, but she knew what it took to get into an art school. She knew what art school was going to be like. And so she put it in my head that I could do this as a career. And then all of a sudden, like, my world after high school seemed a lot more possible. Like I could actually maybe go to a college. Like maybe I could actually do something after high school. And so she like helped me put a portfolio together and helped me apply to schools and all of these things that I just didn't have any understanding for before any of that happened. And up until that point, art was something that I did that I got yelled at for doing during class. And it was so fortunate that I had that teacher who actually taught me about all of those things, because I didn't have like any friends who were interested in art. Like my friends all liked my art and they would ask me to draw Bowser surfing wearing sunglasses, like, you know, or draw them. Like everyone wanted me to draw them. And I remember playing games. Like that was like, art was like a fun way to play games with my friends too. Like we would make up our own card games. Like I remember when I was in elementary school, we made up our own like Pokemon thing where like we designed all these monsters, we had stats, and we tried to make trading cards for them and all this stuff.
So nothing's changed.
So nothing has changed, really. But anyway, yeah, like my connection to art was just something that I could do on the side up until like right before I went away to college, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, I could do this professionally. And then what's funny is that even when I was in college, I still didn't understand how I would get a job in that industry. Like I couldn't picture myself, because it seemed like it was an oxymoron to have a job in art, but then also to work in an office space and have like deadlines and stuff. Like those were all of the things that stressed me out when I was in high school. So I was like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do now? But then I was just like, I'll just do my own thing and I'll make it work. And then that's how that worked. But that only worked because I had friends and people who could help support me. So I'm also very lucky for that.
Did you want to talk about it, Claire, or do you want to move on?
Yeah, I can talk about it. I think my connection to art started really young because my mom had always really liked doing art and was interested in arts, and she had actually wanted to go to college to be an architect when she was graduating high school, and that was like her dream. But my grandpa, her dad, was very old-fashioned, and he said, no, that's a man's job, you can't do that. So she had kind of always wanted to be an artist but couldn't. So I kind of grew up doing art with her. So it was nice to have that connection, and art was like this escapism thing. And I don't know, it was like one of those things, I was always doing it, and then I got to high school, and I think a lot of people have trouble in high school, and I was definitely one of those people. And when I couldn't go to class and I couldn't do my homework, I could still like do art. So I think because, and I was spending a lot of time on Tumblr also.
Oh, me too.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Like I got into Homestuck and Fire Emblem and Danganronpa and all of that stuff in high school, and a big part of my life was just drawing fan art for that. And I think because I had all these artists I was following on social media, and I saw actually the school we went to, Mass Art, I saw someone I liked went to Mass Art, and I started looking into it, and I was like, okay, this could be my career. I want to do webcomics too, which is, I think, what I thought the pinnacle of art was at the time. Just like doing a webcomic.
Homestuck is the pinnacle of art. It still is.
It really felt like it was at the time. But anyway, that's how I realized I wanted art to be like my thing. Also, my grades were pretty bad, I think. But it was just like a constant thing that was there for me. And eventually, when I figured out how to apply myself a little bit more, it started feeling like it could be a career as well.
What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so For me, I also was kind of like English, where I liked watching behind the scenes stuff when I was little. But like even before that, my dad isn't like he's not an artist, but he's always liked to draw. And I remember when I was really little, we had this address book that had all of our relatives and family friends' phone numbers in it, and it was really weird. It had babies in it. It was like for every letter, it had a baby being cute, I guess, with like the object that starts with that letter. So it'd be like apple, and then there's a baby's like, or A, and then you put someone whose last name starts with A, and their phone number, and the apple's like covering the baby's butt or whatever. Like that was pretty much it. When my dad was on the phone, he would just draw in it, and he would always draw clowns, which I thought was so funny. And he would write his name in bubble letters with like ballpoint pens, and I think that was definitely part of it. And he drew with me when I was really little. Like we would draw with like markers and stuff on computer paper, and it was really fun. And then a lot of my family outside of that was very artistic. Like my cousin's a tattoo artist, and he was doing like weird drawings when he was like in his 20s and I was little, and I was looking at that, and then I was like looking at behind the scenes stuff, and I liked animation, and I liked drawing, and I liked coming up with stories, obviously. Wormy, rip.
Oh no.
That kind of stuff. So I definitely kept myself very busy with being creative. And then like around high school, I was like going harder on drawing, because I'm guessing, I mean, my mom did the thing where I was like 10, where she was like, so you're going to be a graphic designer, right? I hear that's really good. And I was like, Mom, I have no idea what the fuck that is. I'm 10. I'm gonna go play Billy Hatcher on my GameCube. Thank you very much. That when I was going into high school, Mom was like, Nick, you could go to a tech school and go for graphic design. I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go to public high school. Like, I want to be with my friends. So I went, and then I took all the art classes you could take. But I wasn't very good at drawing. I liked drawing, but like, I wasn't very good. But I always thought it was fun. I would draw on the back of my papers all the time, stuff like that. So then I was pivoting more towards thinking about going into writing for a long time. I thought about doing it almost up until my senior year. And then I had a talk with my art teacher, and she was like, I really think you should go to RISD. And I was like, that's an art school? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I like your drawings a lot. I think you should go. You get a lot better. And I don't know. I was like going back and forth on it for a while. And then I came to the realization that like, looking back on all this stuff, like all these animations, like all these movies I watched when I was little and stuff, and like learning about the production, that I could combine what I liked about storytelling, what I liked about narrative, and combine it with visuals in like animation or something related. So that was kind of where that converged, and then I decided to go to art school, and then it's just been getting better since then. So yeah.
So should that be the last one, or do you think?
Let's do it. Do we have some like short, funny ones?
Yeah, if we want to do like a lightning round where we all just say yes or no, I think we should do that.
Yeah, wait. Here's one that's that can be answered just in one word and phrase. Very simple. What is your? Well, I hope it's simple. What is your favorite game artistically? And they said mine is Journey. I love that kind of art style. So just like off the top of your heads, like it doesn't have to be your final answer for the rest of your life, but like when you think about it, what game's art direction do you really like?
Breath of the Wild.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I do really like that.
Probably for me, one of the Final Fantasy games. I always liked how over-the-top, extravagant, flowy, shiny, extreme they were. Maybe the first one that comes to mind, because it's the one I played most recently, is Final Fantasy XIV again. But the remake, the Final Fantasy VII remake, was also really cool and really beautiful.
I would say it's not a very stylized game, but I love the art direction in BioShock Infinite. I feel like it's very potent, and it just hits a lot of notes, especially as an American player playing that game and sort of reappropriating American patriotism as fascism, which in a lot of senses it actually really is. I mean, when I was in high school in 2012 and I first played it, I was like, whoa, what an edgy take. But now I play it again now and I'm like, oh shit, it's not that far off. But I really like it for a lot of reasons, because on the one hand, there's that side to it, but then there's also like, it feels almost nostalgic to me, because I remember like being at a 4th of July parade as a kid, and it's just like, without all of the dark subcontext of the true political chaos behind our country, it's just like, that's nice, it's pretty, it feels nice. I love all of the, you know, early 20th century architecture and the steampunk, and all the magic is worked into it. It's cool. So I really like that game a lot.
I don't even play it that often anymore, but I really appreciate TF2. Honestly, the way they stylize humans
Yeah,
is just insane.
TF2
and
is way up there.
it's just amazing. Like I love a lot of like the way low poly things can look, and I know TF2 isn't necessarily low poly, but like the fact that they're able to like have human characters look like that is just so admirable.
What you got, Nick?
Right now I'm thinking about Kirby 64.
Good answer.
Oh, that's such a good game.
That game's really cute. That was one of the first Kirby games I played. I played the Game Boy one, and then I played Nightmare in Dreamland after that. But I've always loved Kirby. I love the enemies. I love that everything's cute and cool and fun at the same time. And that game in particular has like really crazy colors, and like the perspective's really interesting, and mixing up the powers and how that's represented is all super interesting and stuff I've been thinking about lately.
I have more speed round questions. Everyone just say yes or no.
Okay.
Ready?
No.
Good job,
Good.
Jake.
We're off to a good start.
Have you ever drawn giants before? No.
No.
Yes.
I think no.
It's more than one word, Jack.
No. I'm gonna go with no.
Yes.
Okay. This is another one word question. Out of any monster, which one would you go on a date with? Siren.
Harpy.
I'm
Is that
thinking.
it? Oh wait, we have to answer ourselves.
Yeah.
Goth Spider Girl.
Good choice.
That is a good choice.
Godzilla, but a human.
No,
that's
nope,
cheating.
Nope. Has to be monster.
That's a
Date
monster.
Godzilla, Jack. Come on, that's fine.
Yeah, you coward.
Okay.
Don't do a deep
all
cut
right.
Godzilla villain.
Okay, fine. Ibira. I'll go on a date with Ibira.
You could say Edward Cullen if you really need to.
No, no.
Called out.
Edward wasn't even
Called
my favorite.
out.
No.
Called out.
Jasper was the hottest.
Jasper was my favorite.
He's also pretty confused.
I guess I'm going on a date with Jasper because he's a vampire.
Wait, I'm gonna change my answer. Check
You
this out.
can't,
Ready?
Jack. No, we're moving on.
Yes.
Cookie Monster.
Jack.
That. You know, just think about that for a while, alright?
I have another one. What are your favorite Pokemon types? I'm gonna say fairy, but water's a close second.
I think the most of my favorite Pokemon are water type. I know you would think it's dragon, but I think most of my favorite Pokemon are water types.
Flying, obviously.
I like a lot of grass, but I also like bug.
Obviously dark.
This question is, I'm trying to think of a question about art, but I can't think of any. So what champs do you guys main in League?
Rakan. Secondary is probably Lulu right now. And I do support and mid on both of those champions.
Nick?
Yeah, I main Tristana, Jin, and then when I play support, which is the other role I'm probably most comfortable at, I play Nautilus or Leona.
Zaya and Ash and Morgana.
Shyvana is my most played character. I'd say she's my main. And Aurelion Soul and Fiddlesticks. I play jungle most, so I would say Fiddlesticks and Shyvana are my most played.
Ailish plays Nami.
Ailish
This
does.
is a Nami.
I do have one screenshot of 8fish244 playing League, and she was playing Nami.
Cool.
Okay, so then do we want to try and end on like a serious art note? Or, because we kind of hit that.
I don't know. We don't have to end serious. We can just be like, check this out.
Here's the thing. It's my sleepover. And
It's my 2-year anniversary, and I decide if we're gonna end seriously or happy.
I'm really happy with our little mosaic here.
Yeah, this is very
collaboration.
interesting little cross section.
I had fun coloring Nick's little guys.
So anyway, guys, that's a wrap. It's a nice, good, long recording, very in the style of classic subjectively.
Extreme chaos, no organization, a lot of
No
tangents.
consistency, just yeah. That's how we do it here. And we've been doing it for 2 years, and here's to another 2 more. So
Hear,
thank
hear.
you guys so much for all your love and support. get ready for some more awesome content this next coming year. Smallgust is coming up this next month, so get ready for that. And hope you all enjoy your summer or winter, respectively, depending on what hemisphere you're on.
Stay safe. Stay inside.
Stay safe. Stay inside.
Stay subjective.
Stay subjective.
Stay subjective. Ooh, we're rebranding. We back?
Wear
No.
masks.
Stay subjective.
Ooh,
Peace.
I like that. I like that.
Stay subjective. Wow. That's fucking awesome.
All right, guys. Peace and love. See you in the next video.
Bye.
Guys. See you guys.
Bye.